And again, thank you guys for joining us. Again, altering your schedules once again this week. But we felt it was extremely important for us from our end with tomorrow being election day and with what our players and their platforms want to do in terms of making an impact and helping with the polls tomorrow. We're giving them tomorrow off. So we changed our schedule, practice yesterday. We'll get one in the day, and then tomorrow will be their day off to exercise their right to vote, which is a big deal, like I said, for us, something that we've talked a lot about as a program and tried to educate our guys about. A little bit about the win over Minnesota. As I said on Friday, it was a good team win, a needed team win. Players, staff, and all people involved with our programs deserve the opportunity to get a taste of victory, and I was proud of the way our team, competed. I thought, one of the things we try to force and have our guys really understand about the standard we want to play to is that we don't look at the scoreboard. And I thought Friday was indicative of them listening, and that, when we were up by, up 21-7 in the first quarter, I didn't see any of our players relax or get giddy. And when we were down 17 in the fourth quarter, I never saw us panic and just saw us keep playing the next play, which is the type of team that we strive to be. Obviously, we need to have that consistently out of our guys, and that's what we're shooting for. Obviously, defensively, some things we still got to get corrected. When you show that you can't hit the curveball, you guarantee you're going to keep seeing the curveball. And in the run game, the last 2 weeks we haven't been really good against stopping the run, and it's something we've got to get corrected and get corrected fast with a good Penn State team coming in. I do think our defense was opportunistic and did a great job in the fourth quarter with 3 stops on third down, getting the offense to back the ball. In a 4-minute situation, a big stop, as well as a 2-minute situation, a big stop. So we enjoyed the win, and we moved pretty quickly on to Penn State yesterday. Again, with the change of our schedule, didn't allow us a lot of time to necessarily look backwards, because as we talk about, it's all about the next game and wiping the slate clean, which we've done. Penn State, it's our first Big Ten East game. Obviously, when you play your divisional games, and we're in one of the toughest divisions in college football. Penn State, a traditional team right up the road from us that, I know our players enjoy the competition. We haven't fared very well here the last few years, but obviously pose a great challenge to us, and one that I hope our team will be able to prepare the right way to go up and compete for 4 quarters is what the expectation is for us. We got a lot of respect for Penn State and their program. I know they've had a couple of tough games here the last couple of weeks, but I know that they're a well-coached team, and we expect that we'll get their best, especially there at home. Before I take questions, our captains for this week leading us as we do our weekly captains will be Brian Cobb on offense, Spencer Anderson as well on offense, and then Taj Capehart on defense and special teams will be our captains for this week. And I guess with that, I'll open it up to you guys for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Coach. We'll start with Emily.
Hi, Mike. A little bit of two-parter here. First, is Shaq Smith okay? I don't think I saw him on the depth chart. And what do you need to see defensively just to help get off the field on third down?
Yeah, Shaq was a late scratch for us on Friday, and he still remains a scratch for us. And again, because of some of our health laws and rules here on campus, we'll just say that he's a scratch for medical reasons, and we're hoping to get him back here as soon as he's able to get back. As far as what are the expectations to help or I want to see out of our defense to get off the field on third down, I think, as I said in my opening statement, how we played in the fourth quarter of the Minnesota game. I thought there was an intensity there. Obviously, with some of the success we had in the fourth quarter, it created a little momentum, and the energy level was where it needs to be. We still have way too many misalignments, especially when you look at the defensive end, outside linebacker position where, not having guys like Chami and Bola-Tapelli and then losing Shaq as a late scratch. You know, when you have clusters of injuries like those, we were forced to play some players in there that, you know, from an assignment standpoint, probably weren't where we need them to be. And so our goal as coaches is to make sure, and I've said this from day one, that every player from 1 to 110 has to be prepared to go out and execute the game plans, because the way things have been, you never know who's going to be a late scratch based off of medical reasons and things of that nature. So we just got to get our alignment back to where we need them to be, making sure that our fits are proper. And again, get back to kind of what we did there in the fourth quarter, where we were able to get off the field 3 for 3 in the fourth quarter when we needed those stops. So again, we're able to give visual evidence as to what it takes and what it should look like. And now we want to build on that, hopefully.
And just one quick one about Joseph Petrino. From making that long one, how much does that help him confidence-wise? And then just for you guys as a staff, knowing that that's an option for you guys to get some points.
Yeah, you know, we've always had confidence in Joe. You know, he missed the early 51-yarder there right before the half that hit the upright. What we saw in him going and making that kick, there was not one hesitation in putting him out there, because we've seen him do it in practice, and he's shown us that he's capable of making those type of kicks. So I'm glad that he was able to connect on the big one there to get us within a touchdown in the fourth quarter. And I think that really hopefully will help, you know, continue to build his confidence, which we have the utmost confidence in him. But there's definitely a boost there when, you know, I saw him celebrate and get really excited about making it. And I thought the earlier 51-yarder he was very capable of making that one as well. So it was good for him and good for us.
Go to Scott Abraham.
Hey, Coach Locke, Scott Abraham, ABC7. Good to see you. Obviously, this was a big weekend for the Tagovailoa family. Obviously, with Talia getting his first win on Friday night, and then Tua getting his first win on Sunday. What was that like for you? Your perspective. Obviously, you're very close with Tua, and obviously your young quarterback getting his first win, and kind of a family affair this weekend.
Yeah, you know, as Leah probably would tell you, didn't get a lot of opportunity to follow it. I kind of saw it right as we were heading out to practice, but, you know, yesterday was one of those long days for us around here because of giving the players off for tomorrow. We had to practice on Sunday, which is typically their day off. And for us, again, it was getting the Minnesota game put to bed grade-wise and watching the tape, and then, you know, transitioning into our Penn State prep and our scouting report work on them. And so didn't get a lot of opportunity to kind of get a feel for, but obviously happy for Tua. You know, well-deserved opportunity for him and for him to do well, but even more excited for Leah in that, you know, he was able to play the way we know he's capable of playing. And now the goal is to just get that type of effort from him consistently, which we expect and hopefully we'll continue to see out of him. But definitely was excited for Leah and excited for Tua to be able to get a start and then get his first win in the NFL. So happy for both those guys.
And obviously going forward here to Penn State, after the Northwestern game, you didn't want them to get too low. And then probably here after the Minnesota game, you don't want to get them too high. So kind of that neutral mindset going into Penn State. Can you expand on that a little bit, of the peaks and valleys of week to week of college football, of not getting too high and not getting too low?
Yeah, and that's the part about not being front runners and scoreboard watchers. You know, it's all about, you know, sticking to the standard and playing to a standard. And then hopefully that standard is being met. And at the end of the day, the scoreboard reflects it. Right now, we're in the growth phase of our program. And you know, this is the toughest phase when you take over a program, because you're going to deal with the inconsistencies and the ebb and flows that come with, especially when you're playing young players and new players, and new philosophies are still being implemented. But I was happy that we were able to show what we're capable of doing and being able to show it and have some success to show for our team and for our growth and our continued growth. So, again, that was a good reflection of where we want to be, especially when you look at the way that game went, you know, being up early, then getting down, but still finding a way to grit out a win. And never flinching and not necessarily being scoreboard watchers, but just being process oriented and driven and playing to the standard, which I was happy to see. We still got a lot of things to get corrected, and luckily we're able to get it corrected with the win as opposed to a loss. And, we're looking forward to continuing to improve our team from week to week.
Lila.
Hey, Lox, how are you?
Hey, Lila. I'm good. And you?
Good. Just with having the wide receiver core that you guys have, you guys had it really spread out against Minnesota. For you guys as a coaching staff, kind of what has gone into decisions of what guys to use in different schemes?
Well, I think with any program that I've ever been a part of coaching, you're going to put your best players on the field. And every year that can be different. I've been here when we've had multiple tight ends that were really talented players for us. I've been here when we've had a lot of running backs. This year, as I said earlier, going into the season, I thought our receivers would be the strength of our offense. And so I think your philosophy on offense should reflect utilizing your best players and making sure that they're on the field, which gives you the best chance to win. And so, the decisions, how we play, our personnel groupings reflect trying to get our best players on the field and our best players opportunities for touches and ways to get them the ball. Not that we won't play with tight ends. We moved number 10 over from defensive end to tight end, and having Malik Jackson. Right now we've got two healthy tight ends in our program, Tyler Baylor and Malik, and they both are playing and are continuing to get better with each week. Obviously we've got some tailbacks that we feel are playmakers, so you see it reflected in us having two backs on the field at one time. And, obviously, as I said, our receiving core is what we feel one of our strengths of our team. And so how we play and the personnel groupings we use reflect that usually.
And just what has stood out to you from, the way they're able to play against Minnesota as a group, especially in terms of explosiveness?
I would say based off of game 1 to game 2, some of the opportunities weren't there. One, we didn't get a lot of opportunities in the first game with the limited amount of plays we had, and a lot due to the turnovers and then Northwestern establishing the run and utilizing quite a bit of the clock. And as I've said before, we're a team on offense that wants to try to get as close to 80 plays as we can possibly get, which then allows us to really be diverse in how we spread the ball around and enabling playmakers to get touches. And against Minnesota, the execution on offense was as good as our execution has been in a very long time. And we were able to distribute the ball to a lot of different guys, and we had a lot of guys step up and make big plays for us. And just those things didn't happen in the Northwestern game. But as I said that week, I also felt that we weren't as far away as maybe the score and the game reflected because of some of the things I saw from a culture standpoint and from how our team responded in that game. And it was great to see them respond in the Minnesota game, especially the way the game went when we needed them to. And some guys made plays and stepped up for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex Stacy.
Hey, Coach. Thanks again for doing this.
Thank you.
So just 2 questions here, one logistical, one a little more detailed. So with the running back situation, obviously Jake Funk had a big breakout on Friday night. So he's been kind of building to this for a little while. So what did you see from him, and what, I guess, spurred that breakout from your perspective? And the second question is logistical with Tayon Fleet-Davis. How is he coming along, and will he be? Do you know if he'll be available for Penn State this week?
Yeah, we'll start with the Jake Funk question. One, Jake is the veteran guy in that room. As I've said, he's been around here a long time, has faced a lot of adversity via the injury bug, and has continued to overcome it. And just like you said, he's been kind of primed to have that type of game. And, we saw some of the same things in practice in our ramp up to the start of the season, which is why he was first on the depth chart as our tailback. Anybody that knows me knows I've been a huge Jake Funk fan from the time, in 2015 when I took over as the interim head coach. And extended him an offer back then to be a Terp really late in the recruiting process. And, anytime you're the all-time leading rusher in the history of Maryland high school football, I think that speaks volumes to the type of player he is, especially me knowing just how many great backs have come out of the state over the last 25, 30 years that I've been recruiting it. And so not surprised that he was able to have that. I can tell you that I challenged Jake last week. One of the things that really stood out to me about this team is that, it's almost like everybody was waiting for someone to make a play or have a breakout game to kind of ignite us, especially on the offensive side, and still probably that way on defense a little bit. And Jake just happened to be the guy, being a veteran leader. The expectation is our best players got to play big for us in games. And I challenged Jake to step up and come kind of make plays for us. And he came through on Friday night in a big way and looked like the Jake Funk that I remember out of Damascus High School, that was a very productive player, very productive high school player, and has been a very productive player for us during his time here when he was healthy. As far as Tayon Fleet Davis, we're still waiting for answer as to whether he'll be available or not as we work through some of the logistics here on campus. And right now he's not available, but we're hoping that maybe we can get him available here in the very near future. But he continues to practice with us, has done his role as a leader, helping whether it's been on the scout team, and then even, Friday, we have what's called the War Daddy board here, where guys that exude the type of effort and energy you want to see out of a player in a game-like situation. And if you watched our sideline, whether we were up or down, Tayon just showed tremendous leadership with the sideline and helping keep guys up and really being a leader, even though he wasn't dressed and could not play, but really trying to help the team on the sideline in any way he could. And I was really proud of him, brought him in and told him that yesterday, that was really proud to see the way he's taken on a leadership role as he's worked through his issues.
Jacob Steinberg.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
What's up, Jacob?
So you talked earlier about how you noticed the defensive intensity pick up in the fourth quarter, which led to a lot of the success. But I was wondering, after watching the film, did you notice anything schematically or fundamentally that also changed that allowed the defense to have more success, particularly against stopping the run, that you can build on moving forward?
Yeah, I think I said it, as I went into the locker room and have continued to stress, for us, it starts with stopping the run and establishing a run on offense and defense. And, to stop the run, there's a couple things you got to do. One, you've got to be gap sound. And then two, you've got to get guys off blocks, or you got to add numbers to the box to outnumber the run game. And, the challenge for us was to add the numbers to the box, make them play or do things that they didn't want to do, which is throw the football. And they were able to make some big plays in the back end when we loaded the box. But I think the big thing was our guys did a really good job of being sound in their gap assignments late in the game. Our alignments kind of screwed us earlier in the game. We had some guys misaligned, not in the right spots with the ball when the ball was snapped, and leveraging the ball the right way. And, I'll give John Hoke and the defensive staff credit. They just kept making corrections throughout the course of the game. He added numbers to the box. Our DBs challenged the outside quite a bit, and I thought that the fourth quarter, you saw guys getting off of blocks and doing a great job of being aligned correctly, which helped us get off the field on third down when we needed it most.
And just a quick follow-up to that on the other side of the ball, it seems like through 2 weeks, Talia and the offense have really thrived running the run-pass option. What about Talia's skill set and complements that set of plays so well? You had the explosive 76-yard touchdown to Jay Sean on Friday night, and it's brought the offense a lot of success thus far.
Yeah, I think the way you saw those throws that he made, it's the ball location. Those were thrown in the tight windows. Jay Sean's 76-yard run, the DB had good coverage, but Talia put the ball where only Jay Sean could make the play. And Jay Sean did what we have seen Jay Sean do around here, which is make a big play out of a routine play. And, we've got that type of skill at the receiver position. And I think the strength of Talia is his ball placement And in the RPO game is his athleticism and his, as I like to say, he has really good hands where he's able to put the ball in the mesh it with the running back, pull it, get himself balanced, and make accurate pen-eye throws where the ball is thrown exactly where it needs to be thrown. And you saw quite a bit of that Friday night in his ball placement and a lot of throws. I also thought you saw him do a great job of making plays with his feet and legs that he didn't do in the first game. And you know, as we coach him and every week we want to see the improvement out of everybody. One of the things I do know that myself and Coach Montgomery has talked with Leah about is, you know, using his legs and his feet to help him because he is athletic and does have a skill set to where he can really put pressure on defenses when he escapes outside the pocket. Did a really good job Friday night of keeping two hands on the ball and his eyes down the field. And you saw that in some of the scramble throws that were made to receivers that extended drives and extended plays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take two more. We'll go to Ed Lee.
Mike, going back to Joseph Petrino, I believe he only took 5 field goal attempts last year and made 2 of them. Was there some reason why he didn't get as many opportunities last year?
Yeah, we didn't get in the red zone quite a bit. You know, last year, by the end of the year, offensively, we really struggled there down the stretch and did not present enough opportunities for Joseph, which, again, as I said, you know, complementary football is being able to move the ball down and finish with points. You know, last season struggled down the stretch on offense against some really good teams. And this year so far, we've had some opportunities where we moved the ball in position for Joseph to get these opportunities. And, you know, really pleased with the way he's kicking right now.
Also, I wanted to ask about towards the end of regulation, was there a reason why you didn't use your final timeout?
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah, I mean, one, should have used the final timeout, should have taken a shot in the end zone. I can tell you that, and this is one of the issues I have with being involved in the offensive side of the football during the course of a game. You know, there was some discussion on where the ball was in relation to giving Joe Petrino maybe an opportunity to go out and kick a field goal, but with the ball being at the 44-yard line, it would have been a 61-yard attempt. You know, he just made a 51. You know, I got a lot of faith in him, but I also did not want to put him in that position. So, you know, coaches are not immune to error. I should have used that last time out, took a shot in the end zone with 1 second left with our Hail Mary, try to get pass interference. So definitely something in the heat of battle with me being involved in the offense. I need to get that done.
And following up on that, what was your target line or target yards that you were trying to get to so you could set up Joe for a field goal?
35-yard line is his line, and that's usually right at the edge of it. But because he made the 51-yarder with a lot of room to spare, that's what kind of spurred the discussion into whether or not we take that attempt, which we decided obviously not to. Again, I felt like we were playing well on offense, get the ball down, and you know, once we get into overtime, that we'd have a good plan, and we had already started planning some of the overtime thought process there. And so, yeah, as I said, again, should have used the timeout there.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
For our last one, we'll go to Varun.
Hey, Coach, you guys are -6 in the turnover differential so far this year. What's been going wrong there, and what do you need to see to improve on that?
Well, we threw into a team meeting a couple times against Northwestern, where we threw the ball up into bad coverage looks. Should have checked the ball down. This week, I thought we did a better job protecting the football from the standpoint of the interceptions, but got a tip ball on the screen, which is an inopportune thing for the quarterback, you know, getting the ball tipped on the screen, and the kid made a great play on the D-line. And then, you know, obviously Penny Boone's fumbled in the goal line, you know, is a cardinal mistake with us. We don't teach reaching the ball over the goal line. We want every drive to end with us either kicking it or handing the ball to the official. And so, you know, for us, those the last game here, you know, the tipped interception, you know, is the, you know, rub of the green. Sometimes you have those, but the fumble in the one is the one that kind of sits in our craw a little bit, but also the 10 penalties. So still got a lot of things to clean up in terms of the discipline necessary to play winning football, and that's getting turnovers on defense, which we haven't created turnovers in 2 games on the defensive side of the ball, and then obviously turning it over in the Northwestern game the way we did, and then had 2 more this past week, gives us something to continue to work on as a team, and I expect us to improve in that area.
And then you talked about the voting efforts that you've talked to about your players. What have you said to them, and do you know any of their specific plans that you'd like to share with us?
I haven't said much to those guys other than we've done our part to create some programming, educate them on the voting process and how to decide, and different things and resources that the Big Ten and others that are out there to help educate them on the voting element and how to vote and what to look for and those types of things. I know our players, including our leadership group, played a major role in helping Xfinity Center become a voting poll area for us here. And I think a bunch of our players, or quite a few of our players, are scheduled to help volunteer their time at the poll tomorrow over there at the Xfinity Center, which again, strongly encourage them to exercise their rights. And I know that part of their thoughts with the social justice issues that have been going on is that they wanted to make a difference and do it via educating people on the voting process, including themselves and us as a program. And, I'm happy and proud of our guys that they'll be exercising their rights tomorrow at the polls, but also helping others at the poll as well.
Thanks, Coach.